If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, feel free to comment below to join the conversation. Thanks. What's up, YouTube? Good morning to everybody out there. It's pretty early here. I'm Pilot 83, and I thought that I would give y'all a good video on how to set up your sensitivity settings for the Velocityone. I noticed that there isn't a lot, if any, information out there, besides maybe one or two videos, on a good sensitivity setup for the Velocityone. So I'm going to show you my sensitivity settings. Keep in mind that these are my settings. These are what I like to use and prefer. You could tweak these to however you like, but I feel like this is a good basis. So mine are built more around jetliners. And it kind of sucks that you can't put specific sensitivity settings for each profile, as each plane reacts kind of different. Like, you want your jetliner to react more like a jetliner, say when you're turning. So if I bank hard to the right, my plane's not going to all of a sudden suddenly bank hard to the right. You know, it's going to take some time versus a small aircraft. So I try to make mine kind of universal, like I did with my controls in the first place in my previous videos. So let's get into it. So let's go to control options. We are in the Airbus A320 right now. And this is my twin jet custom for all my two prop or jet engine planes. All right. So first, let's start with roll. As you see here. So I have my roll sensitivity turned down 20% on the minus and the positive. You want this good curvature here, so that there doesn't make a sudden, like almost like bouncy, which you'll notice on sometimes when you're taking off, you'll get like this bounce, or it's just jumpy. You don't want that. You want it to be smooth. So this curvature really helps you get that smooth incline or decline. And that works good for all the planes, not just the airliners. Now, something I will do, and I'll also discuss, so on the Velocityone, something that's really awesome is dead zone, and extremity dead zone is something that's just not needed. It is so well in tuned that everything is just dead center. And everyone else that I know that has this, the videos I've watched, everybody says the same thing. It's not like the HOTAS one on Xbox or some other ones on PC where you need to put in a little bit of dead zone. So as far as everything on the Yoke itself, dead zone and extremity dead zone are just not needed on this, which is really good. It just really shows the fine tuning that Turtle Beach put into this. Now, what I do use is reactivity, which we're about to change here. And if you're not familiar with what reactivity is basically how fast the plane responds to your gesture, which you're probably thinking, okay, that's kind of like sensitivity. But no, sensitivity is more of how fast it responds from like 0 to 100. How quick it does it. Reactivity gives it more like a lifelike feel. So you're flying an airliner, like an airliner, if you bank hard to the right. In real life, your airliner is not going to suddenly bank very hard to the right. It's going to take it some time. So reactivity is the option that gives you that more realistic feel. So I turn mine down to 90%. 95% feels the best for smaller planes, but like I said, it kind of sucks that you can't make separate profiles for sensitivity. So I kind of try to make it all universal. So I turn that down to 90%, and that feels it feels okay for the smaller planes, but it feels great for the airliners. Now, it still sucks that we still have to redo this every time we close the game out and reopen it because they have not fixed the bug where all this erases. But I do have great news about that. So if you go in the Microsoft forums, I did last night, I check it every day and read all through it. Under the beta testers for the next update coming out in January for the bug fixes, the beta testers have put in there that this has been fixed, that all our control settings, sensitivity settings, and all the assistant settings that go back to easy after every little update, it says all that has been fixed according to the beta testers in the beta state, that all that is now fixed. Also, that the toggle reverse thrust has also been fixed. So when that releases, all that should be fixed. We should no longer have these issues and have to do this tedious stuff right here. But yes, so I have my yoke like this, and this gives me that good roll on takeoff and good decline as I'm declining down. So now let's talk about our roll, our ailerons. Now, to me, I felt like that the yoke was a little unsensitive when it came to roll. That, especially with the jetliners, that it was just really slow, slower than it should be. Yes, I know it should be slow when it comes to jetliners, but it felt like it was too slow. And it was causing me issues coming into land where I would go all the way to the right or the left, and my plane would feel like it's just really lagging and catch up more than it should. So what I did was I increased my sensitivity by 10% on the minus and positive, and then also drop this down to 90%, and that seemed to really correct that. So it gives me that reaction time of movement starting, and you see the game just glitch there as we're still having these bugs, as it just changed. It just changed all these back on the bottom here, but it changed. But like I said, it really then started picking up the sensitivity faster with my movements, which I feel like it was lacking, but the reactivity then slowed down the actual reaction of the plane itself. And I felt like it was a good medium where then it felt correct. And I felt like how the airliner should react in real life. I've never flown a airliner. I've only flown small Cessnas and one time in a Piper. So that to me feels really good. Like I said, all these can be adjusted to what you feel works best for you. So don't take any of these to heart. Now, the Rudder Paddles. Now, I use the T-Flight Rudder Pedals, which I'll also go over. But the Rudder Paddles, I just turn them down 25% because they're definitely too sensitive. And at 25% down, they feel great. And especially since they are adaptive triggers or paddles, if you want to call them that, when you start to slowly, give them that, because you never in real life want to just shove a rudder pedal to the floor. I mean, you could cause some damage, cause yourself to lose control. So as I'm slowly giving it force and releasing it, it is just very smooth, just how I feel it should be. And a lot of people who I have had discussions with about this, there's not videos on this, but I've had some discussions with other Turtle Beach Velocity 1 users. They all stay between that 20-25%. Reactivity is not needed on this at all from how I feel. I feel that as long as you have it like that, it works great. But just for my own personal preference, I do it to 95%. Just maybe a little bit of help when it comes to the airliners, but I don't feel like that's needed at all. I feel like you are just fine without that on there. So that is our roll. I'm sorry. Yeah, our roll, our pitch up and down, and our rudders. So rudders, up, down, ailerons. So let's go down to something else here. Everything else, the buttons and the levers, I think they're all great where they're at. I don't think they need to be messed with whatsoever. Now the trim wheel. I have felt from the very beginning that the trim wheel was way too sensitive. Even though it has great resistance and is by far the best trim wheel out there on the market, it was just too sensitive. So I turned it down to 25% sensitivity on the minus and positive. And that seems to be the thing that everyone else I've talked to also has done. 25% seems to be that good number. And that there, I feel, on all aircraft makes it feel how it should. At that point, to me, it feels like how it should in a Cessna. It's just a slow, gradually increase and decrease, as it should be. So we'll do that, and I'll show you all these in action. Now, let me go to the T-Flight HOTUS 1 here, because the only thing I use on this is the rudder pedals. And if you are wondering how to use your T-Flight rudder pedals with your Velocityone, I have a video. I'll link it in the description. I'll show you how to hook that up. So let's go to Flight Control Surfaces, Primary Controls. Well, actually, we don't have to even do that. Let's just go sensitivity. And you'll see my rudder pedals here. Now, these rudder pedals here are definitely a little bit different than my Velocityone. Now, I have these turned down to 25%. And you will notice I have a little bit of a dead zone. It's not always needed with these rudder pedals, but sometimes for some reason when I'm starting a new game, the rudder pedals might be a smidge off, and I think it's just to do with, I guess, just the HOTUS 1, and sometimes they're dead on. So I always put 5% dead zone, and that seems to always keep me nice and center, and I don't have any pull to the left or the right. And that 25% minus negative on the rudder pedals seems to work great. So as I slowly start to increase, I get that good curvature there. And reactivity on here, once again, I don't feel like it's needed on these rudder pedals once they're turned down like this. I feel they act kind of different than the actual paddles themselves, but once again, it's one of those things. I just dropped down 95% just to kind of give it a little more of that realism, just in case. So hit done there. Apply and save. Now let's go back to our A320. Right now we are in autopilot, so let's turn off our autopilot. Alright, and let me start to demonstrate these controls. Alright, so first let's start with just a smooth roll to the left, and we will try to keep our plane nice and level. So as we go here, we're starting to slowly just turn. And this is just me just giving it just a little bit of roll. It seems to hold nice and steady. So he's right there on the on the horizon, as it should. pull right back out. All right. Now let's say if I was to suddenly go all the way to the right or left. So watch what happens. Now we're fully to the right. Now you see it took a few seconds to fully get there. As I come back out, so that gives you that more of the realism. Now in your smaller aircraft, it reacts different. It's going to they're going to respond faster to the smaller aircraft, but like I said, I fly mainly jetliners for the most part. So this feels really good for my jetliners. Now let's work with the rudders. And let's get outside the plane so you can really see this. So I'm going to give it just a little bit of rudder and gradually increase it as we go. So here we go. Let's give it some left rudder. And this is just slowly going with it. Give it a little bit of right. All the way down, and it's just really smooth. And if we slowly let her back out, smooth. So let's get inside the plane so you can get a better feel for it. It's kind of hard to tell outside the plane. So let's back level off. As you see, it was real easy. Alright, so once again, we'll give it a little bit of rudder. We'll give it a little bit of left rudder, and we will slowly increase as we do it. Now you can really tell. And that feels really smooth. Now some people complain that when they release the rudder pedals it's jerky. Well, that's a real life trait. When you do your rudder pedals, you never push one in and then automatically push it back out real fast. You push it in, everything is a smooth motion when it comes to flying. So now we're giving it some right rudder here as we gradually increase. We will also use a little bit of roll. And it's just very smooth. Oh, I'll let that trigger go. Sorry guys, but we'll do it again. Just very smooth. You see right there, just very smooth. No jerkiness. And then slowly release it. And look at that. Smooth. Now, let's do our pitch up and pitch down. Let me show you that. So a big thing, like a lot of people complain about, and that is, especially when taking off, is as they're pulling up, the plane just feels like it's bouncy. It just jumps up, or it's almost like it's bouncing, and that's because they don't have that smooth curvature in their sensitivity. So let's give this plane, say, a good hard pull up, say 20 degrees. Slowly, gradually doing it though. And you watch our gauge down there, you'll see how smooth that was. And how easy that is to get back on it. Now let's put her back down. Just slowly increasing it. Let it go. And just perfect. Holding it. Very steady. Let's go outside and take a look at that. So once again, we'll start to pull up. And I'm pulling up, simulating as if I was really taking off. Really good. Put her back down. It's really smooth and reacts to me as I feel a jetliner should. So also with my yoke setting, so when I'm doing my roll to the left or the right, so you watch, so when I move my yoke slowly to the right, the plane reacts as it should. It starts to slowly roll to the right. It gives me that a real feeling of realism of how it should be. So as I'm moving it smoothly, it's reacting exactly the way I am using my yoke. It's following along with my yoke and moving smoothly with it. But it forbids me from giving a sudden hard, like right now. I'm giving it that sudden hard, really fast, direct, full 180 degree turn there. Or I guess it'd be 90 degree turn there, and it seems to work great. So let's go from hard left, and I'll just show you the time. So we are at hard left right now. So let's give it the full 180 from all the way from hard left to hard right. Now I'll tell you when I'm at hard right. I'm now at hard right. So you see it's reacting as a jetliner should. So the jetliner is a very heavy plane. It also has systems in place. It's not gonna let you just yank it and put the plane in a overstressed situation or something that's gonna make you crash. So let's go ahead and do a landing with these controls. And you see right now, no autopilot on, no nothing. And you see this is the plane just flying by itself, flying very smooth. Let's get back to the trim real fast, 'cause I didn't show you the trim before I did my landing. So now watch the trim. So now I'm starting to have to roll on it a good bit more. And we're so high in the sky you can't really tell. You have to look at my gauge there. But look right here, we'll go outside so you can see, but look right here. So I'm giving this, full from the bottom of the trim wheel to the top. And you see just how far it's moving. That's more realistic. Versus before, I feel like I can give it one push down, and I can go from top to bottom. And that's just insanely sensitive. So now it takes 3 or 4 full pushes to get your sensitivity going. So it's nice and smooth. It keeps your plane nice and smooth when it's coming to the trim. So you see that there? That's like 5 pulls down, and that's how it should be. Smooth action, so you don't have all this jumpiness. So let me get out of this. Let me come to a landing. So we'll go ahead and do a landing and just kind of show this in action with the A320 so you can see how it reacts when it's coming down to a landing. Alright guys, I'm back. So I actually also decided to do a takeoff and landing so you can see. We are actually at a very small airport called Edwards Airport, which is in Gulf Shores. I believe I've taken this plane off here before, so I think we got enough room to do it. But and then we're going to land. But just a very short trip, just so I can show you this, so I could touch all bases. So let's go ahead and take off. I got it up to everything's already all set up and everything. Yeah, everything's already all set up for us, and I'm not really worried about any of this right now for this demonstration. I know where we're going. So let's go ahead, put her into toga. We're going to need it. Put our flaps down. 15 degrees. All right. Hope I make this, guys, in this small runway, or this is gonna be a true failure. This airport is made for it's made for private jets, not commercial airliners. So, but I think we can do it. It's gonna be close. There goes our V1. All right, let's roll back. As you can see, that was smooth.
Pensacola approach pilot 83 Whiskey Tango 083
Flaps up.
is type Airbus A20 and 2 miles east of Kilo Juliet Kilo Alpha 400 feet. Request flight following. Pilot 83 Whiskey Tango 083 Heavy Pensacola approach. Squawk 0417. Squawk 0417 Pilot 83 Whiskey Tango 083 Heavy. Pilot 83 Whiskey Tango 083 Heavy radar contact 2 miles north of Alpha Lima 75 1,900 feet.
Alright, final Orange Beach.
Roger, Pilot 83 Whiskey Tango 083 Heavy.
So, like I said, this is going to be a very short flight. We're going to land at Pensacola International Airport. Get myself up here a little bit. I'm going to lower this to 3,000 as we are just 12 miles out.
Pensacola approach pilot 83 Whiskey Tango 083 Heavy. Request clearance to transition Charlie airspace. Pilot 83 Whiskey Tango 083 Heavy Pensacola approach.
But yeah, so we'll be at our approach altitude, so we should be good.
Whiskey Tango 083 Heavy. Pilot 83 Whiskey Tango 083 Heavy contact Pensacola approach on 120.05. Good day.
We'll let ATC.
120.05 Pilot 83
Oh,
Whiskey Tango 083.
sorry guys, too busy talking to y'all. Did not put it back down until auto throttle. Let's go ahead and slow her down. We're going a little fast there.
Pilot 83 Whiskey Tango 083 Heavy Pensacola approach altimeter 30.35. Continue as planned.
There we go. Start to lower our speeds here. We need to slow down pretty quick as we are doing such a short flight. Landing gear back down because we were under 3,000 feet. We should have already done that. We should have just left our landing lights on. Put those on. Boom. Boom. Air brake up. Flaps 1. Going to drop us down to 170. Flaps 2. 65. Flaps 3. Turn autopilot off. Let's go ahead and drop this down to 140. Alright. So now we are hands-on ourselves. Started to trim ourselves out a little bit here for this landing.
2,000.
We are dedicated to this landing. We'll go ahead and put down full flaps. Trim just a little bit. Put our auto brakes on medium because we don't want to throw anybody's heads to the seat. She's reacting really good to small adjustments, very smooth. I know it's a little hard for y'all to tell because you're just watching it. You're not actually seeing the feeling or actually feeling the yoke movement.
Pensacola Tower Pilot 83 Whiskey Tango 08 Tree Heavy is 3 miles west, 1,400 feet with echo to land.
Pilot 83 Whiskey Tango 08 Tree Heavy Pensacola Tower. Altimeter tree 0 decimal tree 5 wind 04 tree at 7. Make straight and runway 8. Pilot 83 Whiskey Tango 08 Tree Heavy, follow the Airbus A20N on final. Wind 04 tree at 7. Cleared to land runway 8.
Fly straight in runway 8, Pilot 83
Alright,
Whiskey
we'll
Tango
start to
08 Tree
focus
Heavy.
on the end of the runway.
300.
Pilot 83 Whiskey Tango 08 Tree Heavy, go around.
Wow, we're not going around. This is a demonstration.
60. 50.
Pensacola Tower, generic November 900.
Drop our throttles.
Whiskey 5 miles west inbound Arnett, runway 8 approach. Generic November 900 Alpha Whiskey Pensacola Tower. Altimeter tree 0 decimal tree 5 wind 04 tree at 7.
First thrusters.
Clear going up runway 8 approach. Pilot 83
Very
Whiskey
smooth,
Tango
very
08 Tree Heavy,
clean.
you are not cleared to land. Clear the runway.
Yeah, I know I'm not clear to land. Tuts, this is a demonstration. But anyway, guys, I just want to demonstrate that for y'all. I hope this helps. Love all you guys. If it helps, or if you have any better suggestion for sensitivity settings, let me know, guys. And I will take them into consideration and try them out myself. Because like I said, some of the best information I find out here is from my actual subscribers and people that comment and join the conversation below. So, as always, guys, happy flying. I hope to see you out there in the skies. Pilot 83 here. Thank you so much for watching and all of y'all's support. As always, happy flying, and I hope to see you in the skies.
Washington Tower Pilot 83 Whiskey Tango 08